What's up, Interesting Enough family? Nolan here, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for tuning into us every single week as we give you the best content possible. However, I do have to ask you for one more thing. Come be a part of our family, and not just the Interesting Enough family, the Anchor family, and record a podcast yourself. It's so easy to do. Let me explain. First off, it's completely free. They have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your computer or phone. As a matter of fact, I'm doing it right now. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. That's right. Real money. Real money. It's everything you need to make a podcast, and it's all in one place. All you got to do is just download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. All right. Welcome, everyone, to Interesting Enough. So I'm Nolan Todd, of course. My co-host Trey Samuel is there.
What's up?
Trey, I know I usually open it up and let you start it off and tell me something that's on your mind. But today, I got something on my mind, and I got to go on my little rant.
Okay, let me hear.
So, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm just going to fill people in real quick, small details. My favorite TV show of all time is The Office, just like a bunch of people. I just want to state for the record, Trey, I'm not one of the Netflix Office people, which is okay. We love you too. But I'm not one of the... I've been a fan of the show since the show was on live TV on NBC. I used to watch it when it came on live. We used to record the episode. So I'm
Who's
that
your favorite character?
Ryan.
Okay, I had to make sure you watch it.
Yeah. Ryan's my favorite character. So I'm an OG, right? Obviously, I have Netflix, just like most other people. And, of course, the big news is that Netflix... Well, I guess I should say it correctly. The rights were bought from Peacock, and that's why The Office isn't on Netflix anymore. Now, here's my rant. We already knew this was coming, right? So they already announced this, I want to say, easily probably over 6 months ago. We knew this was coming. We knew this day was coming. People even tried to petition for it. It didn't happen. But here's my thing. I know Netflix is making a bunch of money, and I know they're going to continue to make a bunch of money, and they made a bunch of money from even selling these rights to The Office. But come on, man. You got to listen to your viewer. Netflix, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm not a big stat guy. I just really talk off the whim, to be honest with you. What I will say is it has to be easily the most viewed show or most viewed program, movie or show on Netflix. And it can't even be close. And if it isn't number one, for some reason, it's got to be in the top 2 or 3. How can they let this happen and take this show out? Like, I'm just so disappointed. Now, I have my other ways, which I won't state over the air, is that I find ways to watch the show.
I'm about to bootleg it. I ain't worried.
I have other ways. I have other ways, but it's a little inconvenient. I'm just going to be honest. It's a little inconvenient to try to go through, find these different ways, find these different avenues to find the show.
It's inconvenient and free.
Right? And I know somebody's going to say, well, yeah, man, just go ahead and get Peacock. Oh, yeah, just go ahead and get this platform or that platform. But it was right there for us on Netflix. And I'm really upset that Netflix didn't listen to the people. And Netflix showed me something. I thought Netflix was for the people, Trey. I thought Netflix was for the people. Netflix isn't for the people. They didn't listen to the people.
They don't raise their prices. No, Nolan. Now you got to get me on the rank. They have raised their prices. And first of all, Netflix don't really have nothing that good. Because let me tell you something. Nobody want to watch Stranger Things. I don't give a damn. All right. First of all, that little girl look like a boy. All right. And then they always talk about Lego My Ego. Don't nobody eat no damn Lego My Ego. Who wants to watch Stranger Things? What good shows on Netflix? Tell me, Nolan.
Okay. So
I'm waiting.
You talking about Netflix originals?
Name one good show on Netflix right now. Name one.
Hold on, Netflix originals, like their original show, or just something that's syndicated on Netflix?
No. I'm talking about Netflix original. I mean, you.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'll give you one. Is House of Cards not an original? Netflix original?
Oh, then they had that show, that little man that was touching all the people. Okay.
Yes. But to be honest, I hadn't watched it in a while either. But yeah, okay. Okay. But it was a good show at the time. It was still a good show. I don't know. I'm spacing out here. To be honest, I'm not a guy that watches a bunch of shows.
That's my point. That's my point. You spacing out because there are no good shows on it. If I said HBO right now, name me a good show on HBO. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know the original shows, but The Wire. But that's not the original show. We said an original show.
I get your show.
You said name something that was an original show off of Netflix, right? Not a syndicated show.
But is it HBO or wasn't The Wire original on HBO?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, you're actually right. I think you are right.
The Sopranos was an original show. Game of Thrones was an original show. Boardwalk Empire was an original show. You see what I'm getting at? They have good shows. What does Netflix have?
I see what you're getting at, but you said
$17.99 for some bullshit. I'm about to get us kicked off, Nolan, because it sucks right now.
But
I'm kind of upset.
okay, but
the only reason I still had Netflix. No, stop. The only reason I still have Netflix is because my aunt uses it. She's 70 and she still uses my account. So I'm being nice and not trying to cut it off. Netflix is pissing me off. Okay, continue, Nolan.
Look, man. First of all, now that you brought up The Wire, I've been telling you to watch The Wire for how long, and you haven't watched it yet. And it's one of the greatest shows ever. So you got to get on that. You're talking about you're going to cancel Netflix or you're going to keep Netflix for your aunt. You're not even utilizing HBO. You saying everything's so great about HBO. You're not even utilizing it. You watching Boardwalk Empire? Are you kidding me?
Hey, hold on.
You got to be joking. Don't even compare those two.
Time out. I'm not taking no slander on that show. Now, the 4th and 5th season were kind of trash. With that 1st through 3rd season, they were phenomenal. Okay?
Well,
Same thing with Game of Thrones. The last season, you skip it. But everything else is great.
All right, man. Well, how about we do this? You watch The Wire, and then when you watch The Wire, actually, I still want to watch Boardwalk Empire, so don't even worry about it. So you just watch The Wire. How about that? And then that'll
I thought we were going to watch The Sopranos. I thought next week in our podcast, we would watch episode 1 of Sopranos and talk about it and that kind of thing. I thought we were
okay, so we'll do The Sopranos.
Okay,
we'll do The Sopranos.
See, hold up. I got to go on this rant again. That's the thing. You can't do that with a Netflix show. What Netflix show will we all watch together? Silence. You
can watch Stranger Things, Trey. People do watch Stranger Things.
No, I don't want to watch no Stranger Things.
I guarantee you, people that listen to this podcast, there's a few people that listen, and don't say anything disparaging about them, by the way, because I know that you'd be tempted to do so. Stranger people do watch Stranger Things. Now, I don't know a bunch of people that watch Stranger Things, but they do exist.
They're stupid. Okay, let's go on.
Look, I just want to let you guys know, since you guys obviously can't see us, that was Trey Samuel that said that. I did not say that about you guys. We appreciate you. If you do watch Stranger Things, or if you do not, I appreciate you tuning in regardless. But forget all that, man, Trey.
I really don't care.
Let's get into it, because I know we can go about this all night. So let's get into the first thing I want to talk about is obviously the college football playoff and the national championship last night. Alabama just absolutely waxed Ohio State, dominated. Any surprises there?
No. Let me tell you why. Alabama has the greatest coach of all time, Saint Nick. I mean, he's a Saint. He can't do no wrong, Nolan. He gets great quarterbacks. He gets great wide receivers. He gets great running backs. He has a great team. Alabama might have been the greatest offensive team we've seen in the last 2 decades, maybe all time.
Better than LSU's last year?
Yeah, at least equal. I would say they're on par, if not better.
Really? I mean, I guess that's a legitimate argument. I mean,
Matt Jones was a decent quarterback. I mean, he wasn't great, but he was really good.
Well, I mean, he was in the Heisman runner. So, I mean,
he was in the Heisman runner because the rest of who he plays with.
Right. That's no. I mean, I give you that. But I mean, yeah. They were a historic offense. They looked great. They pretty much dominated, and there's not really any surprises there. What I want to talk about is Devontae Smith, because we've talked about this off wax, but I'm not really thrilled about the Dolphins projected to draft him 3rd overall. I don't know how you feel about it, but I just think, first of all, I think that's really. Well, I'll tell you my piece first, real quick. So, for one, I think it's really high to be drafting a receiver in general, right? So, forget how he looks or what he's doing or anything. That's just very high to draft a wide receiver. 2, I don't want to draft a wide receiver that's soaking wet 170 pounds, man. Like, at number 3 overall, that's just going to be a glorified deep threat. And third of all, I'm a Dolphins fan, and we've tried this experiment before. We drafted Ted Ginn Jr., a skinny receiver that was a glorified kick return specialist. And Devontae Smith does more than that, so I'll give him more credit than that. But I'm a Jamar Chase guy, and I know Jamar Chase played for LSU. We hadn't seen him all year. He didn't play because of COVID this year, but he is the truth. And if we're going to draft a receiver that high, that's the guy I want.
But let me say this, and I'm not a Miami Dolphins fan, so obviously you know a little bit more about the team than I do the structure of the team. Mm-hmm. You said this to me a couple weeks ago, and I had to concede to you. Name me one Miami Dolphins wide receiver. You might know them because you're a fan.
Right.
Nobody else does. I don't think beggars can be choosers. It don't really matter.
But what are we doing? We're drafting for the name at this point, just because here's the thing. I don't care about guys' credentials in college. Like, if you won the Heisman and this and that has nothing to do with what you're going to do in the pros. To me, that's how I look at it.
Miami got some big issues if you want to start and talking about Miami, because I heard you might be getting Deshaun Watson. So I listen.
Yeah.
What y'all doing? Y'all drafting somebody? Y'all making a trade? What y'all doing?
Okay. So here's what I'll say. Since we're in it now, so let's just go for it. So I love Deshaun Watson. I would want Deshaun Watson. I'll make this even short and sweet. I don't know about getting Deshaun Watson and giving up the amount of picks that we'd have to get. Now, he's worth it. Don't get me wrong. But I think we're on the cusp of maybe doing something special here and maybe being a team that can possibly contend next year or so. And I think that getting Deshaun Watson, if you have to give up that number 3 pick to get him, giving up 2 is one thing, giving up some other picks. But if you got to give up that number 3 pick, man, which most likely that's going to be the price you're going to have to pay, that's tough, because then Deshaun Watson's just coming here. It's going to be the same thing like he was in Houston. He's just going to be here with no weapons. I mean, it's going to be the same situation.
When he had no weapons, are we talking about this year or last year? Because last year, even if he had no weapons,
we're talking about this year.
Are we talking about this year?
They had no weapons. They went 4-12. His best weapon was Will Fuller, was a deep threat receiver, and then he got suspended towards the end of the year.
Yeah, but listen, as a coach, I trust Brian Flores more than I trust Bill O'Brien. Not to say that Bill O'Brien was a bad coach, but Brian Flores doesn't suit up and play receiver, man. That's the only thing. I know what you're saying, but you still got to have some guys to throw the ball to. You know, so, I have to concede that. I see what you're saying. My thing is the quarterback, again, as we all know, is the most important position in football. Deshaun Watson is probably a top 5 quarterback.
Not probably. NFL. You're right. He is.
Yeah. I don't know how many times they become available at such a young age like this. Sometimes you just have to swing for the fences. You know what I mean? And it might go badly. But the Tua experiment might go badly, because if you want to tell me, the Tua experiment went great, no, it didn't, when they kept bringing up Fitzpatrick in every other game, it seemed like. Like, I don't even know who the starter is. Okay, so here's what I will say about the Tua situation. So, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I'm going to be looking at this more closely than pretty much anybody else, right? So, here's what I will say. The Dolphins has got one of the biggest decisions that they have to make for the franchise, and easily I'd say the past 10 years. The biggest decision they have to make is this offseason. And you know what it is? It's not the quarterback situation. It's not who they're going to get in the draft. It's who they're going to get for the offensive coordinator. And I'll tell you why. With Tua, he's going to have to be a system quarterback. We just know what that is. He doesn't have the arm strength like a Justin Herbert or the escapability like a Deshaun Watson, where he can make a lot of plays. But he's going to be a winner. He's going to be accurate. He's going to throw it in anticipation. But with those guys, you got to pair them with an innovative offensive mind that can get the best out of his skills. And everyone has it. You know what Tua's comparison was coming out of college? Drew Brees. You know who Drew Brees is paired with? Sean Payton, one of the most innovative offensive minds in the past decade or even longer. You know when Drew Brees had his worst career season, Trey? When Sean Payton was suspended and didn't coach that year. You got to pair him with a guy like that. I know Patrick Mahomes has got Eric Bieniemy. Now, he's a different talent, but the point being, you got to pair him with an innovative offensive mind. That's going to be the biggest key. Had the injury history that Tua had, and I don't want to get caught. In
he did. He had the shoulder injury. He had the shoulder injury, which is why the Dolphins didn't sign him in the first place. I know it's not the.
I'm about to say, Nolan, let's not play games here. The lower body injuries have been not play stupid.
I can make. But can we make the argument that the shoulder injury was just as important, if not more, than Tua's hip? He's throwing with the shoulder. No.
Here's my thing. I guess he is throwing with his shoulder. But Tua, one of his main attributes as a quarterback? It's not his height. It's not his arm strength.
Accuracy.
Yes, accuracy.
Mobility.
And we already know, if you have these leg injuries, that knocks off one of your main traits right there.
But, okay, here's my saving grace of the Tua thing. Despite how he might have looked all year, we can say one thing. He did look healthy, right?
No, he did.
So that's a good sign.
Right? He did look healthy.
Right. So, yeah, he didn't take a full year hits, but here's also the second part. And, I know you watch Shannon Sharp, and then they talk about it a lot. When he's coming off of rehab. So he had to rehab this first year. So this year he'll actually get to train with the full off season. So that can benefit him a lot. However, if we're just going strictly off the point for Tua or Deshaun, I got to agree with you. As much as I love Tua, and Tua's my guy, and I'm riding with him. I'm still riding with him. But if you got a chance to get Deshaun Watson, and I know you got to give him a lot of stuff to get him, you might have to pull the trigger. So I'm kind of with you on that too. But regardless, at the end of the day, they're going to have to get an innovative offensive coordinator. So that's going to be the decision that I'm going to be looking for. And that decision should really come really in the next few weeks, to be honest with you, because they're already doing interviews for it. So that's going to be the most important thing going forward, whether you have Tua or Deshaun, and then, of course, the weapons. So, but we'll see going forward. Not a big Devontae Smith guy as far as for the future. I thought he had a great year, but we'll kind of see going forward. But I want to get into a lot more of the games that we didn't get to discuss, Trey, with the NFL playoffs. So we'll go down the line. I'll hit you with some quick hitters. You kind of let me know your thoughts about it, and we'll go from there. So the first game, of course, we had the Ravens and Titans game. Your quick thoughts?
Well, you said the Ravens, correct?
Yeah, the Ravens and the Ravens and Titans for the first wild card game.
Okay. I was concerned when the Ravens were down 10-0. But at the end of the day, my favorite player in the NFL right now, Lamar Jackson, he came and he saved the day. Did he throw them into the game? No. Did he look like Peyton?
He never really does.
He doesn't. Did he look like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady? No. He looked like Michael Vick. And besides the dog fighting, he was on point. So, Lamar Jackson is my favorite player. Yes. He likes to run a lot. I like quarterbacks that run a lot. I like quarterbacks that look like running backs. Lamar Jackson for MVP. Let's go.
All right, Steelers and Browns.
Okay, quick hitter. Ben Roethlisberger, he needs to retire. First of all, I'm not a big Ben fan because of some other stuff that you could look up on your own, okay? I'm not going to go there.
Right. For everyone listening, if you don't know the story of Ben Roethlisberger, some off-the-field stuff,
second of all,
you should look that up on your own.
He likes to throw people under the bus. Are you a Big Ben fan? Come on, Nola. Are you? Answer the question.
What's a fan though?
You're not.
I'm gonna play the middle here. What? I mean, he's not my favorite player or anything like that. If that's what you're asking. He's none of my. Not necessarily.
Okay, nobody likes him. That's my point.
Really.
So I was happy they lost. Okay, I like Mike Tomlin. He seems like a nice guy, but I'm not a big Ben fan. Hey, listen, Baker Mayfield, talk that stuff, man. You were talking it. Now he's walking.
And speaking of talking that stuff, how about Juju Smith talking the stuff, man? And then them going out and not performing.
The same guy that was dancing a couple weeks ago and get his ass rocked. That Juju Smith. Right.
Same guy.
Okay.
Yeah, same guy.
He's cool. I just want to make sure. We was on the same page. Nobody cares.
All right. How about that? All right. Moving on. Nickelodeon game. Bears and Saints. I just want to say before you even get there, that had to be one of the most boring games I've probably seen in a while, just in general. I know they tried to liven it up with Nickelodeon, but that game was a boring game to watch. But go ahead. Bears and Saints.
Oh, the game that was on Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
First of all,
the game that was on Nickelodeon.
Shout out Nickelodeon.
One of the most boring games I've seen.
Hey, shout out Nickelodeon's production. I mean, every time somebody scored, it wasn't a lot of scoring in the game, but they got drenched in virtual slime. I liked it. I heard the F-bomb was dropped on Nickelodeon by one of the Chicago players.
Would you watch the Super Bowl with Nickelodeon slime?
Yes, I would. You want to know
the Super Bowl?
You want to know why? Because at least I get to see some damn slime. Half the time you watch the Super Bowl, you don't really care about the teams that's in it. Do you really care about the Patriots? No. Do you really care about the Falcons? No. But now you get the Falcons and Patriots with slime.
I'm not watching the Super Bowl with slime. I'm sorry.
Do you like Young Thug?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, yeah, I know what you. I see what you did
there.
Yeah.
So chill out.
I see what you did there.
Now let me get back to my rant on Chicago. Mitch Trubisky, he needs to go. I like him. I'm not a big fan of Matt Nagy. I think he gets.
Hey, he put that ball in the money and that guy dropped it.
No. All credit, he did drop it. It was a great pass off a trip play. But what did Mitch do after that? Huh?
Mitch is Mitch, man. Mitch is always Mitch.
I know.
Shout out Peyton Full, but Mitch is always Mitch.
I mean, at least that Mitch was out there going to get it, man. He said, I love the game, man. I can't believe it. This Mitch don't love the game.
Yeah, they got to move on. They got to move on with that. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they got to move on.
Boy, they better go get Donovan McNabb drunk behind and just tell him to come out there and play. Go get Jay Cutler.
Okay, we're moving on because we're not going to talk about we're not going to talk about McNabb. But all right, man. How about Tampa Bay and I almost said it. Tampa Bay and the Washington football team.
No, I'm happy. Bravo for not saying that. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah, I almost did.
The Washington football team. Dwayne Haskins is somewhere in Atlanta getting some cheeks at a strip club and eating chicken wings, realizing that he could have been on the football field right now. Losing, but he could have been on the football field. And that is disappointing.
Right. Yeah.
Tampa Bay. Where do I start? Not a big Tom Brady fan. Not a big Antonio Brown fan. I mean, he threw a bag of candy dicks at his ex. So, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like people that throw candy dicks at other people. I just don't think that's really nice. I mean, he could have threw something else. He could have threw like goldfish, earthworms, just anything else.
I think we got the picture. Yeah, I think you've made it very vivid for the.
And I just wanted to make sure I'm a visual learner, so I just wanted to make sure everybody can visualize that.
You did that.
Okay,
they got it. They got it.
You got it. You understand why I feel this way.
We'll move on before we get canceled.
I don't care.
So the last
game, I'm not in the mood to get canceled today.
The last game I'll bring up is the Rams and the Seahawks game.
Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Did Russell Wilson forget to pray before this game? Because he played like trash.
Yeah, man, that offense is tough. The offensive line didn't play well either. To be
but he
fair
was
to him,
scrambling when he didn't need to, and then you're right, the offensive line sucked. But he was just scrambling when he didn't need to, throwing across his body. He looked. I mean, him and Ben Roethlisberger, they were really challenging for who was going to play the worst that weekend. The only reason people not really focused on him because Ben played bad.
That I would say that game to me, I didn't ask you, but that game to me is probably the biggest surprise. Like I didn't really see I didn't see the situation where the Seahawks were going to lose that.
So now let me turn on you. If you're the Seahawks, do you? And I know you got Pete Carroll here. He's in his late 60s. He's getting older. Do you actually start to think in the back of your mind to blow it up? I'm not saying you're going to blow it up this year or next year, but do you start to creep in that maybe we should start putting some of these things in motion to blow it up? I mean, this is an older team altogether.
So here's why I'll say no. Because that defense was historically bad for the first half of the year, and then they got better towards the end. Jamal Adams wasn't playing. He was hurt. They got Carlos Dunlap. I think if they can still revamp some of their defense, I think offensively they can still do some things because they got enough weapons. I know they didn't show it the past few weeks and in the playoffs, but they do have enough weapons. They can put some points on the board if they just protect Russell Wilson. So I wouldn't blow it up necessarily yet because you got a stud in Russell Wilson at quarterback still. He's still a stud, right? He's not Big Ben. We know he's still a stud. I know he didn't play well lately, but you got DK Metcalf. I mean, you've got some studs there. So I wouldn't blow it up yet. I think it's too soon. But, I mean, it's something that's in the back of your mind. I mean, I would consider it. So, something I definitely would consider going forward. But moving on to this week's games, though, Trey, I'm going to just hit you with these games. You hit me with you think, let me know real quick who you think is going to win the game, maybe why. And then we'll kind of hold each other to it for next week. So we'll go. We were just talking about the Rams. So the Rams are going to Green Bay this week with arrested Aaron Rodgers, with arrested Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers on this one. Again, I know I've been ranting a lot today, but I just don't really like a lot of people in the NFL. And Aaron Rodgers is one of the people that I just don't like. He looks smug to me. I don't like his beard. But damn, is he talented. And I wish I had those kids.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's one thing.
I cannot deny his talent. I think he's an arrogant prick. I really do. And I hope we never make it big one day because I would hate for these podcasts to resurface at a later date.
to come back.
Yeah, and haunt me.
I hope we do just because so these can haunt you. And you have to have these tough conversations.
I'm deleting these. And I didn't mean anything that I said. And I was coerced into saying all this. But I don't like Aaron Rodgers. It's just a fact. I don't even know if most of his teammates like him, but man, is he good, and is that Green Bay offense good? And I was worried about the coach coming in last year. I know Aaron Rodgers was saying some things about him in the season, about his practicing habits and whatnot, and I was kind of concerned. I thought, oh man, this might not work after they got let go of Mike McCarthy. But I mean, he's done a phenomenal job. I mean, they got the bye week this week. Why wouldn't I pick Green Bay? Why?
Yeah, I'm going with Green Bay with you. I just think, I'll keep it short and sweet. I mean, in the cold and possibly snowing, I just think they're the better offense, and I think the Rams just don't have enough. I know that defense is going to play well. That defense will travel, but even if Aaron doesn't light it up, I still think they have enough. So I'm going to go with Green Bay. I'm with you there. Now, I'm interested to see what you're going to say here. Baltimore, Buffalo. So the Ravens and the Bills. Baltimore on the road. You got Baltimore on the road.
I'm not joking here. I got Baltimore on the road. Let me tell you why. Josh Allen is not going to be able to throw for 300-plus yards on this Ravens defense. I mean, this is a really good defense. Okay? And I just don't think Buffalo, I like what they're seeing. I love the duo between Josh Allen And then what's that wide receiver? Who is Stephon Diggs?
Diggs.
Phenomenal duel.
He's a beast.
Stephon Diggs. Doesn't he have like the most catches this year out of all wide receivers?
Yeah, I think he led the league in catches, and I think he was like got to be in the top 5 in receiving yards. I mean, he had an all-pro year, big year. I mean, he's been big time, but he had a career year.
And Josh Allen had a career year. I mean, I know it's early on. He had a career year. He had an all-pro year. Ain't nobody stopping Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no Nolan. Say it with me. Ain't nobody stopping that boy.
Okay, so this game has me torn. So the Bills are one of our rivals, so I don't want to necessarily see them win. And I'm going to pick the Ravens, but here's why I'll pick them. I just think there's something to be said, especially in the playoffs and especially in football, if you just get hot at the right time. And the Ravens, if you've noticed, they kind of, ever since like, you remember that they had the game where Lamar Jackson missed it? What was it, when they played the Steelers, when RG3 was starting because those guys were out doing COVID? Ever since that point, they kind of, if you realize, they kind of got it together. Now, they did play some bad teams down the stretch, so they were able to work out their kinks against some bad football teams. But they kind of been getting hot at the right time. And Buffalo has been playing well, but they kind of sputtered a little bit with the Colts, and they escaped that game. But I think the Ravens are playing well at the right time. And I think the one thing you can't say about Lamar Jackson and that team, guess what travels on the road? A run game and defense. And that's two things the Ravens do have. They have a good run game, and they have a good defense. And that can travel. So I'm going to go with the Ravens in the upset. But I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo did win, but I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Would it be an upset? Because, Lamar Jackson is fast.
Yeah, but just based on the year Buffalo had, they were like 13-3. I don't know what the line is looking like, but I would say it's a little bit.
I don't care about the line. They don't have Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson is fast, so that's all I care about.
Well, I will say this: even if it's an upset, it won't be as big of an upset as the next matchup we got here: the Browns and the Chiefs. Who you got?
Stop, Nolan.
No. I'll set this up. I'm set this up now. The Browns have played well. They got out 28-0. No, nothing.
No. I know you're a Baker fan.
Baker, nothing. Yeah, Baker's my guy, but nothing. So here's what I'll ask this. So they got no chance.
No.
Zero.
No. If Patrick Mahomes goes out there and breaks his leg, knock on wood, I'm not hoping that happens, then the Browns have a 40 to 30% chance. So
you even think even if that happens with a backup, just because of them weapons, they just still not.
Tyreek Hill is still out. They just had the weapons. Kelsey is still out there. They just had the weapons. I don't think the Browns are going to be able to stop them. Period.
So you think they're going to run? You think they're going to run out there and get blown out though?
I'm not. 2 touchdowns, maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns. So I don't know if we would consider that a blowout or not, but I think it'll be handily.
So maybe a close game and it gets out of hand late.
It'll be something decisive. Like I can see Baker Mayfield swagger that machismo carrying them for like 2 quarters and the game is closed. And then that swagger and that smug look on his face will get knocked off. And they will remember that they are the Cleveland Browns and nobody cares about them. And that's why Art Motel moved them like 50 years ago. And that's why LeBron James left Cleveland. And that's why Joakim Noah said, who wants to travel there? Who vacations there? Who goes to Cleveland? Because I don't even know where Cleveland is on a map. Like, I really don't know. Is Cleveland a state or is it a city? I don't care. They suck. No.
They got to get. I'm not even going to follow up with that. I'm going to leave that alone because you've officially you've done enough with the city of Cleveland. But so the last game I want to bring up. This is probably the most intriguing matchup, but maybe I would say most even matchup. So we got Tampa Bay and then the Saints. Who you got there?
That's a good one. I like the way you framed that intriguing matchup because on a serious note, I don't know who. I guess I'm just going and I'm gonna do the Skip Bayless take. And when I say the Skip Bayless take, I'm not gonna put a lot of thought into it. I'm just gonna go with the GOAT in this one because it feels like it's a 50-50 matchup. Like I'm just gonna go on the side of GOAT.
Oh, so you're picking the Saints?
What?
You say you're going with the GOAT? Drew Brees, right?
Oh no! You know I do not roll with Drew Brees. If anybody needs to check it out, just look at Undisputed and see what Shannon Sharp said about Drew Brees this summer. I do not rock with Drew Brees. Tom Brady. MAGA 2020.
But Drew Brees is the GOAT, Trey.
That's all I got to say, Nolan.
Drew Brees isn't the GOAT? Am I confused? Am I the only one who thinks Drew Brees is the GOAT?
The GOAT of what?
Of quarterback in the NFL.
No. Tom Brady is the GOAT. Nolan,
So you got Brady.
I'm not even a Brady fan. I know he's the go. Yeah, I got Brady in this one. Brady and Antonio Brown, crazy self. And then guess what? Hold on. To get us kicked off, I want to add this part. When Antonio Brown scores a touchdown this week, he should pull out of his pocket or his pants a bag of candy dicks and throw them all over the end zone.
Okay. All right. I was hoping you didn't say something reckless, but you did anyway. Okay. So the Saints, I'm going with the Saints. I think the Saints at home, I know they don't even have any fans or anything like that, but I'm going to go with the Saints. I just think they have a better team. And I think Tampa Bay's defense is suspect. Let's be honest. They let that Washington team hang around last week with Taylor Henneke or whatever his name is at quarterback. Like that offense, Michael Thomas has came back at the right time. Kamara's come back. I just think they got a better overall. Now Brady will do his thing.
But I don't want to interrupt you too much, but can we agree on one thing? Even though yes, they did have a back. I mean, this person we don't even know Taylor Heineke. However you say his name, he was supposed to still taking college classes. He did play pretty well. I mean, I know he had a defense running all across the field, but he had a good game. I'm talking about for anybody.
So you're asking?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when people try to use that to discredit the Bucs defense, I'm just saying, like, listen, the man had a good game. Like, period.
Yeah, he had a good game. So, well, to be fair, I shouldn't use him as just the sole example because Tampa Bay's defense just hasn't played well for a while. So I would say that. But I just think that the Saints' offense is just kind of loaded. And I think they've been playing pedestrian at best. Remember, Drew Brees is still coming back from the rib injury and all of that, too. So I think he's got a chance to kind of like, right some wrongs and moving forward. And I don't think the Saints will get the Super Bowl this year. I'm going to think they kind of missed their window there for as far as that they've had the last few years. But I do think, they'll be able to find a way to get a win against Tampa. And I think they beat them both times this year, if I'm not mistaken. So that'd be interesting there. So we'll see. Got the Saints there in that game. And final thing, I know this has nothing to do with the playoffs, but I wanted to talk about, obviously today, Eagles coach or former Eagles coach Doug Pederson just got fired. And for those who don't know, we don't know the main reason why he got fired, but one of the situations that happened the last game of the season, Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, if you don't know the situation, he got pulled from the game when the Eagles were playing well. They weren't playing great, I should say, but the Eagles had a chance to win a game. He got pulled out of the game at the beginning of the fourth quarter to give the third-string quarterback a chance to play in the last game of the season. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles were out of contention for the playoffs, so I should state that. So they were not necessarily playing for anything, but it was just a really bad look in terms of that. And, you had some players come out and say they didn't really agree with the decision. And clearly it was, we had some thoughts maybe it was something that came down from ownership that made that decision. Clearly that doesn't seem the case if he got fired. Trey, we didn't really get a chance to discuss it on the pod, but do you think he should have got fired? And if so, what, because his track record, he did lead him to the Super Bowl. It's the only time he's missed the playoffs. So is this enough to fire a guy?
Listen, he had a good track record, but I think any time that you pull out, first of all, let me start off. First of all, he pissed off the franchise quarterback, Carson Wentz, who we can disagree with or agree that he's a good or not good quarterback, but anyway, he's the franchise quarterback. He's who you guys paid. Second of all, the backup who looks like they're showing some promise, you pull out of the game. I know he was a second-round pick, but he was showing promise. Everybody's talking about people that didn't like Carson Wentz. They were saying, "Oh, Hurts is the future." You pull him out of the game where somebody, I don't even know his name, Sutfield.
Yeah, Nate Sutfield.
It's one of those things. I'm not going to say he deserved to get fired, but what I will say is he really made his argument, and he made it hard to root for him in that situation. Like, even if you're a fan, he made it really hard for you to defend him. So I can't say he deserved to get fired, but man, you really don't have any leg to stand on when you do that kind of crap. I mean, do you understand the move?
What do you think Yeah, so that's what I was just about to ask you. What do you think because I've been thinking about this. I don't necessarily know what the motive behind this was. So I'll frame it in a correct way for the listener to know as well. So this is kind of far-fetched, but they're rivals with the New York Giants, and the situation was essentially if the Eagles had won the game based on the records and have everything matched up, the Giants would have been able to get into the playoffs. So some people feel like, were they just doing that to spite the Giants because that's their rival? That's like a far-fetched thing, but who would really be thinking about that? Because another example would be like, okay, well, your team's not making the playoffs, and you want to kind of see a look at your roster and all the other quarterbacks, so you kind of want to see what the situation is. However, Nate Sutfield, we know is not the future of the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, he's been on the team since 2016. Like, I've looked this up. He's been a backup. He's a career backup. He's not – Jalen Hurts has a better chance of actually being a future quarterback. So you'd want to get a look at this guy. And I know, look, he wasn't playing great. And I will say it was also very interesting if you remember – I know the game was about over a week ago now, Trey, but if you remember the situation, they went for it on fourth down when they were only down by 3 points. They could have actually just kicked the field goal to tie the game. So that was also a weird decision that he made as well. So it kind of felt like a situation – you know what – I don't want to say this, but it feels like a situation where it's like a guy was like almost throwing.
No, and that's what it kind of felt like, and that's what it looked like. So it's hard to defend that kind of thing.
And I'm just wondering, like, so my thing is like, what would be the incentive to do that besides you just really don't want to see the Giants make the playoffs? Because, okay, but so the situation looked at. So I think the Eagles are at the 6th pick. So they would have been the 9th pick, Trey. So you moved up 3 spots. What are we doing?
That's just a little baby thing that I could pick up, and that's really stretching it. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe he was drunk. Maybe he was out there with Donovan McNabb, and they went to the bar and they got drunk, and he caught back in.
Well, speaking of McNabb, have you heard about the stuff with his beef with Terrell Owens?
All day.
Are you?
No. Let me tell you something. I love, and I don't know why, because I don't think of myself in real life. If people know me, I'm not cocky, but I like cocky players sometimes. There's ones that don't rub me the wrong way.
All the time, but yeah, you can tell them sometimes. We know you though. All the time, you do like cocky players. Every player that you like is a really cocky player.
Because I like when people talk that stuff and they walk that stuff, and that's what T.O. did. Okay. Yes.
I'll give it to T.O. and he came out there with a broken leg in the Super Bowl. I'll give him that. I will say that, but I'm not gonna act like. Look, T.O. was a headache, and I that doesn't mean he shouldn't have gotten to the Hall. And we're going off on a tangent here, but this is why we're on the pod, so it's all good. But T.O. should have been the first ballot Hall of Famer. We all know that. There's no arguing that. People have personal vendettas, these writers or stuff, why they didn't vote him in. That was just straight disrespectful. However, T.O. also has to remember, like, he's got the thing with, like, I don't know if you've heard Chad Ochocinco talk about it too, but Chad Ochocinco also doesn't believe that he was a distraction. And I'm like, I'm not saying you were a bad guy or anything like that, but I'm not going to act like the stuff you were doing wasn't a distraction. And like T.O. kind of has that thing with it sometimes where he's like, I don't think he was a distraction. I was like, dude, you're doing sit-ups in a driveway. Like, what do you?
He was a distraction, but he was a distraction that I like to watch. Because, there's certain distractions that are just, you're kind of annoyed by them. I mean, like, I don't, perfect example. We've been talking about football.
I'm glad you said that.
We're going to go Kyrie Irving real quick.
You weren't.
Is he a distraction? Because he hasn't played. We don't even know why he hasn't played.
100%.
He hasn't been with the team in like the last 4 games. He hasn't really given the coach a good reason. He hasn't given the media a good reason. Is that a distraction?
100%.
Okay. Now, T.O., yes, he was a distraction as far as his antics off the field, but you knew what he was going to do every Sunday as long as you threw the ball to him. I think those are the kind of distractions I can deal with.
That's the caveat. But that's the let me cut you off here there. That's the caveat. Oh, I know. Okay, yes, T.O.'s going to show up every Sunday. He's going to play his heart out. But he's also going to complain if he doesn't get the ball. He's also going to do a lot of things that's going to be very annoying to a franchise. And he's always the camera's going to be always on him because of those things as well. So that doesn't make him any less of a great player. He's still a great player, but he's also a big distraction. So I'm not going to act like if I was Donovan McNabb, I'd necessarily be in love with the fact of playing with Terrell Owens, besides the fact that he's going to put up numbers on the field. And I guess, you should be like, that's all you should care about. But if you're Donovan McNabb, you know how it is with egos. You're the man in Philly. You're the guy. T.O. comes in. I mean, he sucks the life out of the room, man. I mean, you know what it is. Some guys are okay with that and some guys aren't.
If you could go to 2 football games, if you had a choice between going to 1 football game, I should say, and one of them had Donovan McNabb and Team A, and the other one had Terrell Owens and Team B playing in the game, which game are you going to watch?
I'm going to T.O., but I'm all for Petty. I'm all for watching Petty. I'm all for watching. I'm for watching all of it. I want to see. I like to go to games whether it's football, basketball. And I want to see everything besides just what's going on.
On
you know what I'm saying? I'm here for that stuff.
I tell you now, one of my I shouldn't say favorite, but one of the most interesting basketball memories I have, and I know we're getting ready to end the podcast. I don't want to go too far off a tangent because I know I've been on a tangent this whole night. But one of my favorite basketball memories is the Malice in the Palace. Like, it's just interesting. I'm all for the extracurricular activities, just to say.
I mean, you picked the worst one to pick too. That's unfortunate. I can't even really get into that one too much because obviously that was You literally picked the most volatile example you could have picked, which is I just think hilarious to me. Because of course you would. I should have guessed what you were going to pick too.
Well,
because I was thinking before you said, I was like, I wonder what he's going to pick. I was like, he's going to pick the most volatile situation.
Punches were thrown. All in all, it was a pretty good day in the Malice in the Palace.
Well, except for let's just keep it at that. But yeah, except for certain fans at the Pistons arena that night.
So I'm going to take this as a sign. I'm going to end this podcast now. Thank you so much, Nolan, for joining us today. Thank you to all our fans and listeners. I hope you come back another week.
Peace.